Today we'll just start in a nice comfortable seat, tuning inwards, just starting to notice how you're feeling, tuning into your body and your breath. Check in with how you're feeling mentally. What emotions are coming up right now? How are you feeling physically? Is there anywhere in your body that needs some extra attention tonight or some extra time? And lastly, checking in with your breath. Just noticing for now what your breath is like. And then taking notice of how it all works together. How your breath might affect your mood. How what you're physically feeling might be affecting your breath. And vice versa. And then start to lengthen your breath. Taking a little bit deeper of a breath with each inhale. And lengthening out a little bit longer for each exhale. And then we'll start with a 3-part breath today. So maybe bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart, and start by inhaling, filling up your diaphragm, and then your lungs, and then your upper chest, collarbones, and then exhaling in reverse. And inhale, and exhale. Take a few more rounds on your own. Maybe you keep your hands here if it's helpful. Maybe you lower them back to your knees. And release. Finish out the round that you're on, and then just come back to a nice neutral breath. Deep inhale in and long exhale out. Notice already if this little bit of breath work is already changing how you feel physically or mentally. And maybe it hasn't yet, and that's okay too. So take a nice deep breath in and exhale maybe out through the mouth and blink your eyes open. We'll start in tabletop, warming up the spine with cat-cow. And on an inhale, lengthen, lift the tailbone up to the ceiling. Open up through the collarbones, bringing your heart forward. And exhale, tucking the tailbone, letting your head drop, and arching through your spine. And inhale. And exhale. And keep going with your own breath. Maybe keep going with your cat-cows, or maybe veer off and do some other warm-ups. Maybe you sit back in a child's pose for a little bit. Maybe you stretch the front side body. Maybe you do a gentle leg stretch. All the while coming back to your breath. And then maybe finish it out with another cat-cow. And then we'll take our spinal roll warm-up. So inhale, coming into your cow position, and drag your hips back. And exhale, wave your spine forward. Again, moving with your own breath. Come back to your center after your last round and find a plank or a half plank. And hold. One more breath. And then as you exhale, lower your knees. And then lower the rest of your upper body. Hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale, press up to cobra. And exhale, release. Inhale, lift. And release. Take one more. And release back down. And press up and back. From here, make your way to a seat. And we'll just do a little bit of core before moving on. So bringing the soles of your feet to the mat. Knees bent, roll your shoulders down your back. Inhale. And then exhale, coming into your boat pose. So maybe you're starting off gentle, hands behind your legs, feet on the mat. Or maybe you lift your feet up and take your arms out. Wherever you're at, take notice of your upper chest area. Are you hunched forwards and your chest is caved inwards? Or are your collarbones nice and open? Today we'll try focusing on heart-opening poses because it's February. And these are great anytime, but I've been trying to focus more on heart-opening poses, and so I thought we'd include some today. Hold for one more breath, and then release. Take another deep breath in and out, and set back up in your preferred pose. And from here, tap one foot down, and then the other. If your feet are lowered, you can lift and lower and lift and lower. Take one more time each side, and maybe release for a breath. And then last core opener. Come back to whichever boat pose you were doing. Inhale. And then exhale, slowly start to lower to the ground until just your heels and your shoulders are up, or maybe your feet are down. Hold. And exhale, release. Take a full body stretch with your arms up overhead. And then from here, roll over onto your belly. And coming into Sphinx. So you can start with your arms out long and start to slide your elbows back until you find the form of Sphinx that feels good for today. Maybe that's with your elbows slightly in front of your shoulders. Maybe that's with your hands out a little farther. And again, taking notice of, are you nice and open through your collarbones, or are you caving inwards? One more breath here. And then release. Take your forehead to the mat for just a moment. Shake out your hips. And then press up and back. And find heart to earth or puppy pose. Walk your hands to the upper corners of your mat. And start to lower your heart to the earth. Coming back up when you're ready, and taking a child's pose for just a few breaths. Pressing back up when you're ready to all fours. And from there, find a downward facing dog. And pedal out your feet. Dropping one heel towards the mat, and then the other. And then bring both feet back to the mat. Maybe you bend your knees here. Turn both heels slightly to the right. Your toes are slightly to the left. And bend into your knees. And you might feel a bit of a stretch in the left side body. And back to center. This time, turn your heels slightly to the left and your toes slightly to the right. Bend your knees. And this time, maybe you feel side body stretch on the right side. And back to center for your downward dog. Find some stillness, maybe shake your head yes and then no. And then on an inhale, take your left leg up to a three-legged dog. Open up through your hips, bend your knee, and then release back and shift forward and coming to a low lunge on the left side to start. If you'd like, you can take your arms up overhead for a breath or two. And then from there, swim your hands around your back, interlace your fingers, take your hands down and open up through your chest. And then release. Plant your right palm, twist towards the left. And release back to your twist. Plant your palms, make your way back to your downward dog. And same thing on the right. Inhale your right leg up. Open up through the hips, stacking your hips, bend your knee. And then back to your three-legged dog and through to a low lunge. And hang out here for a few breaths, noticing how you feel. If this side feels any different from the other side. When you're ready, take your arms up overhead. And then swim them around the back. Interlace your fingers. And open up through your chest. Gently release your hands and take a twist. Plant your left palm, reach your right arm up. And release. Make your way back to your downward dog. And from your down dog, take a nice slow walk up to the front of your mat. Find a forward fold. Maybe you bend your knees, grab opposite elbows. Release your hands. Grab a block here if you'd like. Take your right hand to the center of your mat. Bend your right knee and twist towards the left. And release. Take the other side. Left hand to the mat or block. Bend your left knee. Twist towards the right. And release. Hang out in forward fold for another breath. And on an inhale, lift up to a flat back and release. And roll up to standing nice and slowly. And take your arms up overhead. Exhale, swim them around your back. Interlace your fingers. Take your hands down and open up through your collarbones. And gently release. Take your right leg up to your chest, or maybe you're low to the ground. And circle the ankle both ways. And maybe point and flex. And then we'll take a twist. Twisting to the right. Right arm opens up behind you. Left hand stays on your knee or leg. And then back to center. Maybe release. And then take your right leg back. Step back and come into warrior one. So right toes are pointed at about a 45-degree angle. Left toes are pointed forward. Bend through your left knee and take your arms up overhead. And swim your hands around your back. Once again, interlacing your fingers and opening up through your chest. And gently release. Straighten through your left knee. See if you can lift your right knee back up and balance here for just a moment. And then gently release back to your Tadasana. Draw your left knee into your chest. Circling your ankle. And then point and flex. And twist to the left, keeping your right hand on your knee or your leg, and left hand opens up behind you. And release. Maybe let go of your leg, test your balance. Then send your left leg back. Coming into warrior one on the right side. Right toes are pointed forward. Bend through your right knee, left toes at a 45-degree angle. And swim your arms around your back, interlace your fingers, and open up through your chest. And release, pivoting on your left foot. Just try and lift your left knee back up and balance. And then set it back down and release. Inhale your arms up and exhale. Take a forward fold. And inhale up to a flat back. And release. Plant your palms. Step back to a downward dog. And on an inhale, lift your right leg up to a three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Pause here. And then coming through to a high lunge if you're feeling ready, but you can always lower your back knee. And maybe your hands are low to the ground, or maybe you take them up overhead. Swim your arms around your back, once again opening up through the chest. And release. Bring your arms back down and take a twist to the right. And release, plant your palms, come back to plank or tabletop, and then to your downward dog. And from here, take your left leg up, and on an exhale, knee to nose, pause. And then stepping or helping your foot through for a lunge on the left. Taking your arms around your back and opening up through your chest. Gently release your hands and take a twist, this time to the left. And release. Plant your palms, come into a plank or half plank. Inhale. And exhale, lower. Hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale up to cobra. And release. Take two more with your own breath. When you're ready, pressing up and back and taking a child's pose. When you're ready, maybe pausing to take a drink. Make your way back to your downward dog. On an inhale, start to tuck your tailbone, coming up on your tippy toes, and then wave forward, coming into a high plank. And exhale, back up to your downward dog. And keep going with your own breath, taking a few more spinal waves. Meeting back in downward dog. This time, take your left leg up to a three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, and through to a high lunge. From here, Step your right foot up a little bit. Toes turned out at a 45-degree angle. Left toes pointing forward. Bend through your left knee and come up into Warrior One. And release your hands back down, straighten through your left leg, and fold forward, coming into pyramid. Maybe you have blocks on either side of your foot here. Take a few more breaths. And then when you're ready, bending through your left knee, pivot onto your right foot and make your way back to your downward dog from that high lunge position. And inhale, take your right leg up, exhale, knee to nose, and through to a high lunge on the right. This time, step your left foot up, left toes turned out, and right toes pointing forward. Bend through your right knee, coming up to Warrior One. Inhale, and as you exhale, straighten through your right leg and fold forward over your right leg. Taking a few more breaths here. Maybe you move with your breath, slightly bending and lifting. Pivot on your back foot, coming back into that high lunge, and make your way back to a downward dog. From here, start to walk up, find a forward fold, and hang out here for a few breaths. And we'll take another twist here. So plant your left hand, bend your left knee, and twist towards the right. And release. Coming to the other side, right arm down and bend your right knee. And release. Inhale, lift up to a flat back. And fold. And roll up to standing. Taking your arms up overhead and exhale, press the air away. Coming to the center of your mat. And finding Tadasana. And start by just feeling your way through the space. So rocking forwards and backwards, maybe side to side. Just feeling how your balance shifts between all those spaces. Coming to stillness when you eventually find your center point. And from here, we'll take a tree pose on both sides. So start by shifting your weight over to your left foot and grow your tree with your right foot, either low to the ground or up farther on the leg, just not on the knee. And once you get there, press your right foot into your left leg and your left leg into your right foot. See if that helps with balance a little bit. And find an uplifted gaze. See if that feels better. pausing to take leaning tree. If you'd like, take your right hand to your right leg and take your left arm up and over, slight side bend to the right. Notice how this challenges your balance. It's okay to fall out of it. Coming back upright and releasing. Shake it out if you need to. And when you're ready, shift over to the right and take your left foot either low to the ground or farther up your leg, just not on the knee. And once you get there, press your left foot into your right leg. At the same time, your right leg into your left foot. Notice how this side might feel different from the other, maybe in terms of balance or stability. If you'd like to come into leaning tree, take your left hand to left leg and reach your right arm up, stretching over to the left. Releasing when you're ready. Shake it out. And then find a wide stance in the center of your mat. Turning your toes out to start. Inhale, then exhale. Bend your knees, sink your hips, and come into goddess. We'll try taking a little twist here. So start with left elbow to left leg. Then your right arm will swim around your back. Maybe your right arm comes to your left thigh, or maybe it just comes to kind of your low back. That's okay too. Mine doesn't reach very far. Just enough to kind of open up through the chest to the right. One more breath on this side and then release. Coming over to the other side, right elbow to right knee. Left arm swims around, maybe to your right leg, or maybe just on your low back. Open up your chest, taking a slight twist to the left. And releasing back to center. And standing back upright, taking a breath here. And then releasing. From here, come into a wide leg forward fold. You can choose your foot placement, either out, facing forward, or pigeon toes in. Fold forward when you're ready. Maybe you have a block here. Bend your knees if you'd like. Let go of your head and your neck. Maybe try shaking your head yes and then no to release the neck. Stay in stillness or find some movement. Inhale, lift and lengthen, and exhale, release. From here, turn your toes slightly out if they aren't already. Walk your hands over to the right and find a slight bend in your right knee. Coming up to a high side lunge. And then walk your hands through center and over to the left. Same thing here. And walk your hands through center and over to the right. Stay up high, or if you feel like you have the space, coming down into a deeper lunge, straightening through your left leg and turning your left toes up. And walk through center. One more time to the left, same thing. You can stay up high if you'd like, or come down lower. And back to center. Take a breath here. And then coming up onto your fingertips, heel toe your feet to the center about. I like to come wider than hip width apart, but you can find what works for you. And start to bend your knees, sink your hips down low, and come into Malasana. And so once you come down here, you can adjust your feet, adjust your stance. Maybe you take your hands to your knees and open up here. You can also always be sitting on a block here as well. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, take your hands behind you and gently come onto your seat. And maybe you shake your legs out a little bit or windshield wiper your knees back and forth. Coming back to your boat pose from the beginning. Inhale. And then exhale, find your boat pose. Once again, bringing your attention back to keeping a nice opening through the collarbones. And also noticing any differences you feel with this pose from the boat we did at the beginning of our practice. Maybe it's a bit easier to hold now that we've been moving. Maybe it's opposite. Since we've been working, it's harder. Just notice for yourself. Hold for a couple more breaths. And releasing back upright. When you're ready. And roll back over your feet and make your way back to your tabletop. Tuck your toes under, press into your hands, and lift your knees up and hold here. Inhale, and then exhale, press up and back. Find your downward dog. Maybe you pedal out the legs. Maybe you find some stillness. Inhale your left leg up to a three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose and through to a lunge. Go ahead and lower your back knee and find a low lunge. And then heel toe your foot to the outside of your left hand. So your left heel is on the mat and left toes are off. Stay here or maybe find more of a stretch in the hip. Flex through your left foot. Roll to the outside of your foot and start to open up through your hip if that feels okay. And bring your leg back up and start to heel toe your foot back to the center. And then walk your hands back, straighten through your left leg and fold forward over your leg. Inhale and exhale back to your lunge and make your way back to your downward dog. Same thing on the right leg up. And exhale, knee to nose, and through to a low lunge. And take a breath here to start. And then heel toe your right foot. So your right toes are off the mat, right heel on the mat. If you'd like, you can flex through your right foot, roll to the outside edge of your right foot, and open up, bending your knee down and opening up a little bit more through the hip. But this is optional. You can still get a nice stretch without this part. Bring your knee back up, heel toe your foot back between your hands, and straighten through your right leg and fold forward over. Back to your low lunge, and from here find your way back to your downward dog. Take your left leg up once more into a three-legged dog. Stack your hips, bend your knee, open up, and then come back to center, but keep your knee bent and take leg circles with your knee just down, out, and around, and then switch directions just a couple times, and then release. And take your right leg up, stack your hips, open up through the right side, and then back, square off your hips, but keep your right knee bent, and take your knee in circles one way, and then the other way. And then release. Find a moment of stillness in your down dog. Inhale. And then exhale, slowly start to lower your knees back down, letting your knees hover just up off the ground. And then gently releasing and taking your feet together, knees apart, and sitting back in a child's pose. Walk your hands over to the left side of your mat. And through center and over to the right side. Back to center. From here, take your elbows into the mat, lift your forearms up, hands together, and maybe take them up over the head. Take one more breath here. And exhale, release. And press back up. If you'd like, pause here to take a couple cat-cows. Making sure not to go too deep into them. Now that we're nice and warm, we still don't want to take too deep of a back bend. And when you're ready, coming onto your seat and taking your legs out long, maybe shake them out. Inhale, and then exhale, find a forward fold. If you'd like, this can be an active stretch, either with your toes flexed or feet pointed. Or if you prefer, it can be passive as well. Inhale. And exhale, nice and slowly, lifting back upright. And bring your legs back in if you'd like. Just find a comfortable seat. Take your arms out wide into a T. Inhale. Then exhale, coming into eagle arms. Wrap your right elbow over left, and then wrap your forearms around. And coming into eagle arms. Gently release back out, and this time cross left elbow over right, and coming into eagle arms on the other side. And gently releasing back out. And then from here, make your way onto your back. Bring your knees into your chest. Maybe rock side to side. And then find a happy baby, either one leg at a time or both legs, either grabbing your feet or wrapping your arms underneath your knees. Inhale in and exhale, release. And then taking reclined pigeon. You can start whichever leg you'd like. I'm starting with the left. So crossing left ankle over right. And keeping your foot on the ground or lifting your leg up. And inhale. And exhale, gently release. And then take it to the other side. Inhale and exhale, release. Uncross and windshield wiper your knees back and forth. And then before we come into Shavasana, we'll take a reclined twist. Just one last kind of gentle heart opener. So take your hips over to the right and let both knees fall over to the left, arms out in a T. And once you're comfortable, close your eyes. And bring your knees back up through center. Shift your hips through center and over to the right. And bring your knees and hips back to center. And then come into Shavasana, either with your legs out long or feet on the mat, knees bent. Closing your eyes once you're comfortable. Take a nice deep breath in and exhale out. Bring movement back into your body, moving your fingers and your toes, your arms and your legs. Maybe taking a full body stretch and rolling to one side. When you're ready, pause here. Take a few more breaths with your eyes closed. Gently pressing back upright when you're ready and coming to your comfortable seat. Closing your eyes and just noticing how you feel. Any changes from the beginning of practice. Bringing your attention to your breath, to your emotions and mental state. And lastly, to your physical body. Take a nice big breath in and take your arms up overhead and exhale your hands down to your heart center and bow your head to your heart. Take a few breaths into your heart space and end your practice with a gratitude for someone or something. Take a deep breath in and then exhale. Blink your eyes back open. Thank you for joining me tonight. I hope you're feeling nice and relaxed and ready for the rest of your evening. And take care and have a great rest of your night.